So, we want to read this morning from Hebrews, the first chapter, as we think before communion time. We do have the new and better because of Jesus. Oh, I want you to know that. All because of Jesus, who paid the price. Hebrews 1. We'll start our reading with verse 4. Speaking of him being made so much better than the angels, as he hath by inheritance obtained a more excellent name than they. Emphasizing the fact that Jesus, the Son, so much better than the angels. For unto which of the angels said he at any time, Thou art my Son, this day have I begotten thee? And again, I will be to him a father, and he shall be to me a son. And again, when he bringeth in the first begotten into the world. Now that's actually referring to his resurrection. He says, and let all the angels of God worship him. And of the angels he saith, who maketh his angels spirits, and his ministers a flame of fire? But unto the Son he saith, Thy throne, O God, is forever and forever. A scepter of righteousness is the scepter of thy kingdom. Thou hast loved righteousness and hated iniquity. Therefore God, even thy God, hath anointed thee with the oil of gladness above thy fellows. Now it takes a little bit to, shall we say, decipher all this. But it's letting us know something about Jesus, who gave us the better and the bigger. Remember the reason for the writing of Hebrews here. Now it was written in 63 AD, about 30 years after the church started on the day of Pentecost. So the church was only about 30 years old at this point, and only 7 years away from the fall of Jerusalem in 70 AD by Titus and the Romans. And so at this time there was a persecution among the Jews in Palestine, and because of this, Paul was afraid many of these new Christians, Jewish Christians, might return to the old Mosaic law and the old way of life. So Paul paints the better picture of Jesus here and his new Christian way. We don't have to be told that necessarily because we've been told that for so many years, but it was certainly true with these people. Now the book of Hebrews is difficult to understand a lot of times. But still, in this heavy thought, you will gain a lot of good as you allow your mind to think deeply. So fix your mind this morning, please, on the fact that we have the new and the better because of Jesus. He paid the price. Big price. And here's why this is so. First of all, in our text it says Jesus has the more excellent name in verse 4 and 5. Now Jesus is God's Son. He's not a servant like an angel. Angels were servants. But Jesus was the Son of God, and he was the Son of God because of inheritance. So he had a more excellent name. And that's why I want to read from Philippians 2, some very familiar verses that you've probably memorized. Listen to them. Verse 9, Philippians 2. Wherefore God also hath highly exalted Jesus, and given him a name which is above every name. Okay? That at the name of Jesus, every knee should bow, of things in earth, things in earth, or in heaven and in earth, and things under the earth, those who passed on. And that every tongue should confess that Jesus Christ is Lord, to the glory of God the Father. Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your salvation with fear and trembling. Excellent verses that let us know this about Jesus, that he has the extra name. God exalted him. God gave him a name above every name. Everyone will bow to that name, and every tongue will confess to that name. And that is exactly why it says, work out your salvation with some real consideration. Yeah. Now, is this hard to understand? I mean, we've read this over and over many times. So let it wrap your soul, enclose your soul. This should glue your attention on Jesus and seal your devotion to him, because he has a name that is an excellent name and above every name on earth. Amen. Now here's the second thing about Jesus, as we read in the text, that shows we have the new and better. Oh my, this is a truckload. Second thing here, Jesus is the first begotten from the grave. He's worshipped by angels. He's given a throne. He's got a scepter, and he's been anointed king over his kingdom. What more could you ask, or what more could you say about it? Wow. So Paul wasted no time in telling exactly who Jesus was. You think of all this. All of that we've read is about Jesus. He won over death, and he defeated the devil in that death process and resurrection. He is worshipped by the whole host of heaven, and who knows how much that is. That's Jesus. He has a throne. He has a scepter. He has a kingdom. So folks, move over. Bow down and say yes to Jesus. Why not? Jesus can and has always offered the best, and this you can think about when you take communion. So much, so much. And here's the third thing about Jesus from our text. Jesus, he is king, and he loves righteousness and hates iniquity. Now that means sin. He loves righteousness and he hates iniquity. This describes the character of Jesus, and this is what the Christian living is all about. Jesus died and wants a character change in all of us, that we might resemble him.
Amen.
I love it. His kingdom will be made up only of those who are like Him, who love righteousness and hate the wrong that's going on out there all around us. How's your love? How's your hate? Love the right things and hate those things that are wrong with a passion. Why not? Jesus, yes, He has the name. Jesus, He has a scepter. Jesus, He has a kingdom, us. And Jesus has the character that heaven can be proud of. Now you think of this at communion time. This is that moment where you can face reality. This is that moment when you can face Jesus, and this is that moment when you can face yourself. And compare the two. They meet. Just remember that Jesus has the most excellent name. He is King. We are subjects in His kingdom. And so I'm going to bow to this Jesus. I'm going to think about this Jesus. I'm going to love righteousness and hate the wrong, the sin that's out there, and let that challenge me. So much to think about when the cup comes and the loaf comes at the time of the Lord's Supper. Am I doing a good job of resembling the King who loves righteousness and hates iniquity? What do you think?